something bad happened, and this is the result.
So this was not the video we planned on making, but our whole travel week just got wrecked.
Yeah, quite literally, because our truck got wrecked and it is not drivable. And so here's the problem. And this is kind of like, one of the things we've talked so much about, pros and cons of like a drivable RV versus a towable RV. Well, here's one really big con of when you have a towable RV, especially like a fifth wheel of this size, is that you have to have a certain size truck, type of truck, a certain type of equipped truck, right? You need a fifth wheel hitch to be able to tow. And since our truck right now is wrecked and not drivable,
Bandit's sitting here all by her lonesome. Smokey's in the shop.
that means we literally are stranded as far as not being able to go anywhere in the RV. So Ben was taking Trinity to school because she goes to school in Mount Dora. Last Friday, he was taking her to school. He had dropped her off at school, thankfully. He was on his way home.
Yeah, so I was driving down I would say highway.
It's actually, this is interesting. The Florida trooper was like very specific. This isn't a highway, but it's like highway speeds.
Yeah.
One of those roads where it's not a highway, but the speed limit is on the higher side.
It all really just happened so fast. It was like crazy, but I was driving on the right lane. There was a guy coming up on the left lane pretty fast, and we were approaching an intersection. And he ended up needing to turn right up ahead. And
Poor planning on this other driver.
Poor planning, just impulsive. The traffic right at the stoplight had been stopped. So basically he pulled in really fast and pretty much had to stop, put on his brakes and stop real fast because the traffic ahead of him was stopped. Well, this was right in the middle of an intersection. It basically took all my reaction time away when he pulled in, and I ended up just hitting him behind, pushing him out of the way, and then running into another truck that was in front of him.
In effect, what he did is he pulled in front of you and slammed on his brakes.
Right.
I mean, it was almost like a brake check situation, but he wasn't intentionally brake checking, but that's just like what happened, because then when he pulls in, the guy in front of him was immediately stopped. Again, just poor planning. This driver just wasn't executing good judgment, and because he was driving in an unsafe manner, it caused an accident.
And the first thing that goes through my mind is like, it just happened so fast, like seconds. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna be at fault for this? And I just hit 2 cars. What is this gonna do to my insurance? What is this gonna do, for our travel plans? Everything's running through my mind. And luckily, Evie was in the back seat, and I heard her do a cartwheel, land on the floor of the rear of the pickup truck when she hit the back of my seat, because I felt it. And then she got back up wondering, like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
And I immediately remembered, I really hope I turned on that dash cam. Luckily, I have it set to actually turn on. We have a Garmin dash cam that we use that we absolutely love. And during the wreck, it automatically made a sound. And I knew right away, okay, it probably saved the incident. So I was stopped, obviously, put it in park, noticed that I've got radiator fluid leaking out. Everyone else is getting out of their cars. I saved the dash cam footage to my phone real quick because I knew I'd need it.
At some point you called me in there too.
Yeah, and then got out, made sure everyone was okay. Nobody was, seriously injured or anything like that. The guy in front of me had blood on his arms and stuff. Obviously, he must have hit the seatbelt from the impacts, all the seatbelt.
Well, his back window shattered.
Yeah, his back window completely shattered.
So he could have gotten cut too, or whatever.
His car was not drivable at all. The trooper.
And then the truck wasn't drivable either because the impact punctured the radiator. And then now that we're a little bit past that and they've evaluated it, come to find out there's 2 radiators on this truck. But the trooper told Ben because of the way that it was essentially a rear-end collision, had he not had the dash cam footage, he would have been found just immediately at fault because it was a rear-end collision.
Yeah.
But that dash cam footage saved us.
I was showing it to him and the guy at fault right there, and the trooper looked at it and watched it, and right away he looked over at the guy that was at the fault and raised his eyebrows like, seriously, dude? You
I
do.
mean, so, thankfully, obviously, accidents do happen. People make mistakes. People, have a lapse in judgment or whatever. They're in a hurry and things happen. Thankfully, Ben wasn't at fault in this sense just because of the fallout that would happen with insurance rates and, everything else when you have an at-fault accident versus a not at-fault accident. But that still doesn't change the fact that then the fallout from all of this is that we are sitting here. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we were not supposed to be sitting here in our driveway. We were supposed to be traveling elsewhere. We had travel plans, we had reservations, we had a whole Friendsgiving planned with other travel families, and it's been killing me seeing everybody posting their wonderful photos of being in the islands right now and knowing we were supposed to be there, and I had to cancel our reservations because the truck is not drivable and it's sitting at the body shop. Okay, look, we're not going to be sitting here singing like the poor me, woe is me kind of thing, because in the grand scheme of things could be a lot worse, right? Ben could have been like broken bones. It could have been hospitalizations. Things could have been a whole lot worse, right? So the fact that we are having our own little, just the four of us Thanksgiving tomorrow, that's fine. We actually have something that we're thinking about doing tomorrow as a pivot for fun. So you have to make sure you're subscribed because that could get really fun. We did talk to the body shop today. Oh, and here's the other thing that really stinks, you guys. And let us know in the comments if you have navigated some of this, or if you've navigated where you've had a vehicle that was in an accident, or you've had to navigate through insurance or whatever. The insurance is refusing to put in OEM parts for the cooling system. So
Well, everything. A lot of this stuff is non-OEM.
a lot of stuff's non-OEM. Now, thankfully, the body shop has connections. They've been able to actually price match some things to be able to get us the OEM parts. But our biggest concern is this. So we have a Ford F-350 Super Duty because we're towing something that's heavy, right? And so especially when it comes to something like the cooling system, you don't want to cheap out on something like that when you know you're going to be using your truck to tow heavy loads.
And the guy at the body shop did specifically mention that there's a lot of times that the aftermarket parts are not as quality as OEM parts, just as far as weight goes. You can tell it's lighter weight, not as much metal used, And for the radiator and cooling system, I do not want that to be cheaped out on. I don't want aftermarket parts on that. I want the OEM.
We just want to make sure that we don't have an issue where we're sitting on the side of the road overheating because the radiator isn't as good of quality as what it should have been pre-accident. So long story short, it's going to cost us, at this point, they're saying around $450 out of our own pocket to be able to get, what I'm going to say is the correct parts, right?
Well, basically a vehicle back to identical to what it was before
pre-accident, right?
Yeah.
We're not looking for, a performance upgrade. We just want the truck the way that it was before that it got wrecked.
I just want the peace of mind. I don't want to have to worry about anything.
It's stressful enough when you're towing,
or
even driving a large RV. I mean, that in and of itself is stressful enough. You're always looking at your gauges. You're always like, what's my trans temp? You're always looking at that. The last thing you want to do is think about, crap, what if they put in that, that cheap radiator that they put in if it's not doing its job anyway.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any suggestions, if you've dealt with insurance companies where maybe you have paid out of pocket for something because you didn't want it to be done wrong, were you able to get money back after the fact? Let us know in your experience, if there's ways or, the magic words to say, or anyway, let us know in the comments if you've got any experience with that. Here's the other kind of caveat in the deal. Is that we went through our own insurance, even though the other driver is at fault, and then we'll let our insurance go after the other insurance company. And so we're having to deal with our own insurance policy, which then, of course, it's what does your policy say? Blah, 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 blah. So what we're hoping is that we can go after the other insurance company for then those out-of-pocket things that, again, with this, that we're going to have to pay for on our own. Hopefully, per our conversation with the body shop this morning, because they are just continuing to move forward, especially after we spoke with them this morning. We're like, yep, just get the OEM stuff. We don't want any more delays because we only have small windows. That's the thing I think that is most disheartening in this whole thing is that here we are the week of Thanksgiving. The kids have no school. They don't have any other extracurriculars and stuff like that because it's Thanksgiving week and most people expect that families are going to be together or travel. And that was our intention to be traveling in our RV.
Yeah, and you know what? It also put the damper in so many different things because I've got a new hitch coming in or a new goose
There's all sorts of
neck
things that
coming in that I was going to install in the RV. And in order to do that, the best way is to have it delivered on the back of the pickup and then back the pickup up to the RV and then mount it. But now I can't do that. So I have to figure out a way to get the hitch up, which these things are heavy.
You're not going to be able to install it until the truck comes back.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the long and short of that.
Yeah.
Lots of flies in the ointment with all of this. So anyway, keep your fingers crossed for us, prayers, all of that. The body shop at this point is saying December the 12th is when they're anticipating. And you guys know how this kind of stuff goes. It always usually ends up taking longer, costing more. So let's just pray that the damage that they've seen, what they've assessed, that they don't get anything, they don't start taking things apart and they're like, oh, this is, a new development we didn't know about or didn't see or whatever. So hopefully it's just smooth sailing from here and we can get our truck back, because the next window for us with the kids in school is going to be like the Christmas New Year's break. And so really, really, really want to be out there in our RV.
Yeah.
The kids have asked this year that we are home on Christmas Day, because last year we were in Europe, and so that's fine. So I've got at this point a tentative plan that we'll be home Christmas Day and then leave the day after Christmas, which still gives us a really good long window because they don't have to be back in school until the 6th of January.
On a positive note, though, we did rent a Tesla Model Y, and now Charity wants one.
Actually, anyway, I've been looking at that for a while. So
yeah, they've got this.
We're digressing.
It's really gotten us into the Christmas spirit because they've got this sleigh mode that you can activate, Santa mode, and it's got a little sleigh with reindeers and running around as the cars, and the people are elves. It's just so fun. We've hooked up into our 50 amp plug and with a mobile charger, and we're able to charge it at home at 30 amps, which is really cool. So we can charge it overnight and not use the rapid chargers.
If there's a silver lining, it's that we've had fun driving this other car. But I would have still much preferred to have the accident not happen and have my truck and be where we really wanted to be this week. Anyway, we just wanted to give you an update. Also let you know that we've got a few more mods that we've got coming on this. We've got a bunch more parts that are sitting in it's not a basement compartment on this. What do we call it? Pass-through storage on this?
Junk collector. Oh my gosh,
We've got a few more things that we're going to be doing on this.
Yeah.
Just because we can, and it's fun, and we love sharing that kind of stuff with you guys too.
And we need to give you kind of a full tour of what we've done, the before and after. We haven't really shown you guys everything that we've done.
I feel like it's always been a work in progress. Anyway, make sure that you have liked and subscribed, and then we've got some really fun, exciting stuff planned for the new year. We've already been talking with some people and working on some really fun collaboration stuff going on.
Excited about
so lots to come in the new year. But anyway, thank you so much for being along with us for the ride this year. It has been great. Thank you for the comments. Make sure you keep those coming. And if you guys aren't in the comments section, reading the comments section, this is where we actually are learning a lot from you guys out there in the RV community. So make sure that you guys are, reading the comments if you're not at least leaving a comment, because chances are you'll probably learn something just like we do from reading the comments week in and week out.
Yeah. So. And since it's Thanksgiving coming up, it's going to be past by the time you get here. What's one thing you're grateful for?
I am just grateful for the fact that we at least do have this time together as a family. Nobody's stuck in a hospital. Yeah. There's so much that there is really to be grateful for, even though we're not where we want to be right now. I know that could kind of sound like a little remiss.
All in all, we've got a, healthy, happy family. No one's sick right now, so very happy.
And we're over the ick finally, so that's good. So anyway, yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm thankful for.
And we're thankful for you guys. Thank you for coming along this journey with us so far. The ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, and everything in between.
All of it. And since this video will go up before it is officially Christmas, you'll have to check out the video from last week where we actually went through and we talked about a lot of our top picks for RV gear, RV life, and stuff like that is on sale during this holiday season. So you'll have to check that out.
Right here. Watch it. Watch it before I throw it away.